Conor versus Chandler is going to be very telling for Stipe versus Jon Jones. It's not a situation we find very often in this sport. And I must tell you, while I sit back and I critique it in my general condescending dick of a self tone, while I do that, I do believe it's the fight you should make. And if I had the power to make it or cross it out, I make it. So apparently my hypocrisy knows no bounds on this. Because, hear me out real fast, guys, because we've really never been in this situation. Conor versus Chandler is going to happen because Dana White said it's going to happen. And that's it. And that's how his mind works. That's very consistent, and that's very on brand. And if anything was to happen opposite of that, it would be he said everybody down, he worked it out. That's just on a personal level. It would not come down to contracts or what I have the right or power to do. Wouldn't be like that. On a personal level, Dana said this. You two relied on it. Specifically talking to Chandler here. Going a million different directions with McGregor. Gave this guy his word. I'm just sharing for you. That's why this fight's going to happen. Now, we've had that before. I'll give you a great one. A great one happened right in front of your eyes, and some of you may not know that it happened, but Alexander Gustafsson to fight for a world championship. Jon Jones happened to be the champion at the time. And Gus worked directly with Lorenzo, at least on this match. And Lorenzo only had a couple of guys. There was only a few guys that actually worked with Lorenzo. I'm just sharing that. So Gus was needed. And he was needed to fight Anthony Johnson. Now, Gus did not have a problem with fighting Anthony Johnson, rest his soul. Gus had a problem with risking his number one contendership. So Lorenzo told him, hey, I want you to come do this fight. There was a few things that was a problem with that fight. There was a few things, but none of which bigger than timing. You're calling a short notice fight for the most dangerous guy in our sport, right? We all understand this. I'm stating the obvious, but Lorenzo said, you're going to have the dangers of that fight for sure, but you're not going to have the dangers of the repercussion of the fight. You're going to fight for the championship. Jon Jones' next fight will be against you. But I would like you to go out here and fight Rumble on this date. And Gus said okay. And Gus got stopped quickly. There was two fights where Rumble stopped his guys fast. And one was Glover Teixeira and one was Gus. So and sometimes I get them confused. But they were both fast. Like almost one punch. He came up with an uppercut on one of them, and I think that was Glover. But it's very similar with Gus, where they barely started touching each other, and the first time he did, he ended the fight. And Gus got up off that canvas, and 4 months later was in there with Jon Jones in what at that time produced the greatest light heavyweight fight of all time. And it was the first time that Jon was threatened and tested, and many of you believed that Gus beat him that night. So, one reason, and you probably enjoyed that story as I just told it to you, and some of you reminisced a little bit because you had heard it was a long time ago. But one of the reasons you forgot it, or never knew it in the first place, is the relevance was so small because of the timing. Gus was to fight Jon. Oh, time out. Gus, you're going to fight Rumble, rest his soul. Jon didn't fight anybody. Jon was waiting. So it was still Jon's next fight. It didn't delay anything. It was a fight we wanted to see. Rumble wasn't quite there. There didn't turn into this whole thing of, hey, how's Gus going to and not Rumble? So, yeah, let's give Rumble just a little bit more to do. Like, everything just worked out. And it came, and it was smooth. And that fight, Gus versus Jon, was so epic and outstanding. Like, nobody even remembered that he was coming in off a loss. But it's just one of these things. So we have a very unique spot as it has to do with Chandler and McGregor, because the only reason they're fighting is because we said that fight was going to happen. And there's a lot of things you'd like to do with Chandler. Like, Chandler's just that guy. I mean, he spends his whole career to learn how to be that guy, and now he is. He is that guy that you want to see walk to the ring. You want to see him train for the fight. You want to see him face off. You want to see him fight, and you don't care about the outcome, and you want to hear what he has to say when it's done. He's that guy. He is the complete entertaining package. 35 years of learning how to do it. Here he is. And when you know the irony, right when he's ready and right when he's there at the peak of his value, X, Y, and Z happens and it delays his career. So I'm bringing this to you because while there's a number of things you'd like to do with Chandler, there's a number of things you'd like to do with Conor. And you can't do them and you can't get to them until we get this out of the way. Because we said we were going to do it. Hey, get any questions from me? I'm not challenging that. I'm sharing with you in the world of promotion when you're thinking of breaking into Sports Center, when you would like Dan Lebertard or you would like Jim Rome to get behind your idea and product. When your PR shoots them the press release, when Danny Brenner himself picks up the phone and says, this is what the fight is about. Dana said it was going to happen. It's not enough. I'm just sharing with you. It's not enough. And now you want to talk about a main event spot? You want to talk a fight? It will break into the top 10, by the way. There's only one pay-per-view in the top 10 that is not 50% Conor McGregor. Only one. I think it's number 5, by the way. Conor's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. His fight with Chandler will break into the top 10. He will beat out one of his own records. It's a huge fight. I don't question those things. I'm sharing for you, telling why we're going to do it, and moreover, the boom, the spring that we get, right? That's the whole secret sauce to Dana White over any other promoter. Is he does a meaningful match, which means what happens in this match has a consequence down the road. And it's one of those spots where, man, we just got to do the fight. And we've never been in this position before. They might have some window dressing for this and a great sparkle plan. We wouldn't know because it hasn't happened before. And I'm bringing it to your attention from this regard because we're doing another one at the exact same time, which is Jon Jones versus Stipe Miocic. Now that one, we're even going to put a title up as of now. But the title has lost a lot of luster because we as a community understand, man, we got to keep things somewhat consistent here. The belt's got to come off him and go to this guy. Oh, by the way, it's already gone to this guy. It just didn't come off of him. It's a very weird situation. It's a very, very weird situation. So we can insert that belt because in all fairness, it does have one. But for us hardcore fans, we're giving a little bit of a look at that. And if we do strip that away, which we can't, but if we did, we are left with the exact same scenario of why are we doing the fight? Because we said we were going to do the fight. But there's 5 other things I'd like to see from this athlete. There's 5 other things I would like to see from this athlete. You want to know the fight, by the way? You want to know the fight? In terms of doing a poster, of facing them off, of walking them out there, sitting down and arguing with your friends. In terms of 5 years from now, the most likely match that you would look back on, grab that, throw it in, and play it again at a party. It's Stipe versus Ciryl Gane. That is the fight. By the way, the X's and O's, where you sit back and go, oh yeah, I don't know who's gonna win. Oh boy, wow, ooh, wow. Oh, I could see this. I could see that. I could see a distance decision. I could see a stoppage in the second round. But you could say for both guys, you could see Ciryl stomping him out. You could see Stipe stomping him out at his own game. Stipe could come out and touch him up, right? He could touch him up just like he did JDS. I mean, I'm just saying, like that's the match, and it's not even in discussion. You've never even heard somebody say the words until I just said them right now. And I only say it to prove the point that we have so many things that we'd like to do with both of these guys, but we can't do anything until we get them together. We have to get them together because we said we're going to get them together. And I think it's a mistake. I think it's a miss. Now, like anything, I'm only as good as the information that I've been given. There's nobody that would disagree with me. It's not like if Dana and I are in the same room, he's Chael, young man, let me teach you something here. Been at this longer than you have. It's not like that. He'd say, Chael, my calendar got all thrown off. But it's what we're going to do, and here's why. Like, I understand it. There's not a disagreement. But it doesn't change the idea that whatever window dressing we're going to have to sprinkle and put on this, and there's a massive resistance. I mean, it's to the point that Conor McGregor came out with a spoof. But spoofs work all the time. All the time. When you come out with an announcement, if it gets over, if the major media chains pick it up not knowing they were spoofed, it then happens. Conor came out with the very spoof I speak of and assigned a date of June 29th in arena of T-Mobile. T-Mobile is booked for June 29th and does not have a main event. So it's a perfect move by Conor. Ray Charles could see that's the direction they're going to go. Dana pulled it. Said, no, we're not doing it. I mean, you got to put the gears back in motion. You know how media partners are going, hey, dude, could you please just go ahead and do it? We've already said, we've confused our viewer. Could you please just do, we thought it was real when Conor said it. So we've now told our viewer that it was real. We're going to have to call our credibility into question. Could you just make the match since you don't have one anyway and you are going to do this match? Could you just do it then? No. Okay. Well, now you got my interest. I want to know why. I want to know why no. And when that match comes around, or whatever sprinkle, window dressing, we're going to sprinkle on this. The phrase I was attempting to find there. Whatever happens for better or worse, that is going to be the paradigm that we copy to do Jones versus Stipe. The only two fights in history that are being done with the delay for the same reason, which is no reason at all other than we said we were going to do them. It's not about money. It's not about rankings. It's not about draw. It's about nothing. It's not about commitments. It's about nothing. It's about, I said, and now we're going to do it. And there might be a way to promote that, but this is uncharted water. And whatever happens with Chandler and McGregor, and it does appear that there's a plan that we are not privy to. It does appear there's a plan that when it comes out is going to shake up the statements that I just made to you. But either way, if it doesn't work, there would be no reason to move forward with Stipe versus Jones.